Last week, I introduced a series of dreams that I had about Jesus. And now I want to take you into the second and third dreams and show you how they connect, even though they happen several nights apart. And to be honest, the continuity of him appearing in these dreams is still completely surreal to me. I want to start with the second dream because what I was shown there becomes a framework for everything else. In this dream, I was shown a line. It was a line of awareness or a line of consciousness. Above the line was God, Jesus, the realm of higher frequency beings, a celestial frequency of love, and below it, us, all of us, and the earth herself. Then a screen appeared, almost like a cinematic infographic, a movie showing centuries of history on the bottom part of the screen, where we were separated from the top part of the screen by this line that seemed more like frequency than anything else. I spent some time looking at us on the lower portion of the screen, and it was madness, centuries of mayhem compressed into a visual field, with humanity churning at the bottom, all of it at one time simultaneous. My eyes wandered over it and then back up the screen, and the first thing I saw above the line was Jesus, and the word ambassador popped into my mind. A visual of him reaching down into this density, trying to help us rise, to help us across the line. I could feel this incredible love that he has for us. It was undeniable. His mission, to help us cross back over the line to his side, the true side of God. He seemed to see something within us that we couldn't see ourselves. But I had a difficult time staying connected into this dream. I couldn't seem to hold a frequency, and the dream ended soon after. But I drew out the images as soon as I woke up. Later, in thinking back, the dream showed me in its own self-demonstration how hard it is to hold frequency. So maybe the dream was just being honest with me. And I sat with that image for a while, and maybe a week later, I was pulled into another dream, into a conversation about the Bible, biblical history, ancient ancestry, and I understood that I was going to take a journey back in time, and I was pulled into a desert landscape. It was the pyramids, the great pyramids, only more of them, more than I had seen in pictures before, and there were symbols in the sky like energetic markers, and the words that came into my mind was pulsars, as if the sky itself held coded information. And Jesus was there again. I stared at him. He was facing slightly at an angle with the sun illuminating him. He was talking, giving a lecture, maybe recounting a timeline. He looked the same in this dream as he did in the previous dreams, and I just stared at him. I no longer felt that this was a dream. It felt like reality, like I feel when I'm awake. And as I looked at him, I was like, wait. I stopped him, and he stopped and looked back at me. I wanted to know something before he continued. So this was the third time he appeared in a couple of weeks, and I needed to understand why he was appearing to me. Why me? I felt like I was going to be shown something that was too big for me to know, like it was going to change something within me. I almost wondered if he was coming to the wrong person, and I said, there are hundreds of platforms out there with big audiences. If you're trying to get a message out there, I'm not even a Christian. I read the Bible through once in high school and attempted to read it again late in my 20s, but only got about halfway through. There was something about it, and I just stopped trying to make sense of it. So what I was doing was giving him a chance to opt out. And then he said clearly, I am not just coming to you. I am coming to tens of thousands of people. You just happen to be listening. And in that moment, in my mind, I was shown people who do have followings, who do have a platform, sharing their gift, an informed perspective. It felt good to see this and to know this, that there was an emergence. And he said that I am a healer and that that is my gift. So I let that settle. And I remember the original dream where I had asked for a sign, a message of hope. And I thought, okay, this will be okay. So we travel back through time, through biblical history, the world's struggles, wars, slavery, cultural abuse. We talked about all of the pain that had been inflicted across time. He said that this had created a karma within the earth, an energy that is, but also an energy that has to be dealt with, that the earth is going to have to purge before she can move into new earth. And one of those things that has to purge is an old knowledge. And in that understanding, I felt that there was a purge that was taking place within religion itself, a waking out of the dormant state, not just with the Bible, but with history around the Bible and secrets that surround it. He showed me that the Bible had been manipulated. Not all of it, maybe, but it is not entirely as it appears. He showed me what he called design points, places where confusion was built in deliberately. There is a saying that 95% of a truth is still a lie. A lie can hold enough truth to make it believable or resistant to challenge. And then I saw a fork in the road, a point where history could have taken one of two paths, one of truth and one of manipulation, two separate possible directions. The path of truth was one force, the sight of Jesus, and the path of deception was another, and the path that was chosen was the deceptive one. I sensed that Jesus was here during those turbulent times. He was dynamic, actively engaged, not passively sacrificing. There was a genuine chance here. Both sides were competing. And then something big turned the tide. His mission was sabotaged, and he was crucified. This vision was playing out in front of me. And I want to be clear about something. I am not saying that this is biblically scholarly, and my intention is not to challenge or change anyone's beliefs. This is just my perspective, the experience I had based on my dreams, and I am still studying and trying to process this. And I woke up, I knew that there was a deception. I could feel it. I just didn't know where it started, but I was motivated to find out. And so I went looking, and something pulled me straight to Josephus. Josephus was a Jewish priest who became a Roman collaborator. He lived through the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE, one of the most devastating events in biblical history. He watched Jerusalem burn and then defected to Rome, where he wrote about it under Roman patronage. He's one of the few who documented that period from the inside, and everything he wrote passed through the filter of Roman authority. It was written by the perspective of the winning side. There's a passage where Josephus mentions Jesus directly, and he describes Jesus as a wise teacher, a doer of wonderful works. And then comes the suspicious line that claims he is the Messiah. I say suspicious because modern scholars believe that that line was added later by Christian scribes. It suggests that maybe someone went into historical text and rewrote it, because that was a line that Josephus, a Jewish man writing for Rome, almost certainly would not have written. And in my dream, Jesus did not portray himself as a Messiah, but as an ambassador. Josephus also recorded signs before the temple fell, supernatural forebodings, and perhaps the most chilling was during the festival of Shavuot, where priests heard a loud voice in the temple sanctuary saying, "We are departing from here." And something left in that moment, and something shifted. And from my dream, it felt like there was an energy that could no longer remain here. And I wonder if this is where Josephus had to shift to. His writing stripped Judaism of its mystical content to make it acceptable to Rome. Did he have to move the record further away from the original truth? Scholars have asked for centuries, what did he know that he couldn't say directly? There are passages in his work that read almost like coded references, something hiding between the lines. And the dream said that there are secrets in the history. Historical analysis strongly suggests that Josephus knew significant details that he either omitted, reinterpreted, or couldn't write about directly. And when I think about where the fork actually happened, where history could have gone one way and maybe it was deliberately pushed the other, maybe in the translation chain from Aramaic to Greek to Latin to English, the Council of Nicaea deciding which texts survived and which ones were buried, the Gnostic Gospels, the Gospel of Thomas, the Nag Hammadi Library, all carrying a more direct, mystical understanding and all suppressed. And the path of transparency would have preserved the mystical transmission, but what would a path of deception do? It would turn a living frequency into an institution, and it would probably tell humanity to wait for a savior instead of doing the work of rising. I feel that that was the deception the dream was pointing to, not that Jesus isn't real, because he is real, and he is dedicated. He is still reaching across the line, but the story we were told about how it works, wait, believe, he'll come back, that's not what I was shown in my dream. And I asked him if he was coming back. And in my understanding, he's not. He's not coming back. And this is not how it works. What I heard instead is that we are to rise, to grow into Christ consciousness. And then I returned to the line of consciousness, the image that I spoke about at the beginning. God above the line, Jesus at the edge, reaching in, and us below, the earth below, wanting to help us, and we can help her. We are caught in the same struggle. Jesus trying to influence the energy within us, not to rescue us from above, but to help us rise from within. We have free will. It has to be our own free will. He said frequency and love are the way out. He didn't say doctrine or waiting, not institution, but frequency and love. And that is what an ambassador would ask of you, not worship, but participation. And he called himself an ambassador. And in a dream, he said, he can't come back here. The energy is too low. But that doesn't mean that he can't reach us, because he can, and he is. And that to me is more comforting than institution, because he is working all the time, reaching out to us all the time. He's not waiting to come back. He's with us now. These dreams changed everything that I felt that I knew. It's not that he won't return. It's that he can't, and not out of weakness, but out of physics, out of frequency. The direction was never him coming down. It was always us rising up against a force that is trying to keep us stuck here. And the earth is caught in this too. She is a being. She wants to help us. And she is also below the line, carrying the weight of everything that has been done to her and through her. And I ask, what about the people that cannot hear you or see you in dreams? He said that they will be fine, that one doesn't have to see him to live in a higher frequency to reach him. He comes to them all the same, and that their desire to find him does indeed find him. There are no tricks here, and Jesus does not use deception. It was the perfect answer, all inclusive. We all have a chance. The choice is ours. No one will be left out that doesn't want to be left out. So this is basically my new framework to cultivate high vibrational emotions like compassion, deep communication, and intentional connection. My next video is who are the people of Earth, the species of God's people. So until next time, this is Jessica.